Hello everybody, my name is Braylon Rising and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. Anyways, as you guys saw from my last video, I did mention how my videos would be a little choppy because of me getting a new puppy. It's still gonna be that way for a little bit. There's just a lot going on in this world, and not even with just my life, but just with this coronavirus. I also just want to say a huge thank you to all the support I've been getting on this channel. A lot of you guys are being super nice and leaving very positive feedback under my videos, and it makes my day reading those. So continue to leave feedback, positive or negative, whichever, but just make sure it's in a polite manner because we're all adults here. But for all the people that are leaving me all those nice comments and letting me know what you think and all your thoughts, I truly very much appreciate it and continue to do so because I read every single comment. The case that we're going to be doing today is a solved case after it took 37 years to solve, and the main reason that I want to share this case, because it's a solved case, I always want to have solved cases kind of have a reasoning as to why I am sharing them, because missing cases, you're spreading that person's name, you're getting their name out there, and hopefully they can still be found. But with solved cases, their murderer is already found and the victim is either identified or found. This one's super different though, because this was one of the first cases to be solved using genealogy. Using genealogy. And this case just really shows what technology can do. It was solved in 2019, so it's really showing like what our technology is like today and how great it is. And I don't know, I just think it's a super interesting case on how it was solved, and it's also just, we're just remembering who this victim was and who she was as a person. There's not one YouTuber I've seen that has made a video on this, and I think I saw one little short 11-minute documentary, but it didn't even share anything about this woman's past life or anything. So without further freaking ado, let's jump into the damn case. And this case is known as Flat Jane Doe. It was the summer of July 1982. It was along the Lake Tahoe Trail just off the Mount Rose Highway in Nevada, where two hikers were making their regular hike, and this was a popular hiking trail, and they were just walking along when they found a woman lying face down on the ground. She had a pair of male underwear over her head, which when removed, it was concealing 2 gunshot wounds. This victim was dressed in blue jeans with cream-colored tennis shoes with yellow toes and a blue tank top with a one-piece bathing suit underneath, which made police assume that possibly she was on her way to just go have a summer swim on this day. Police concluded that the clothing that this victim was wearing would have been purchased in either California, Washington, or Oregon, which obviously did not help them narrow down any of their search to either of those 3 states. It's a broad spectrum right there. And they also guessed that she stood around 5'5", she weighed around 112 pounds, and she would have been around the age of between 25 to 35. They also believe she was from Europe due to her dental work as well, but an investigation in 2010 discredited this assumption. After further investigating, police determined that the clothing she was wearing was purchased on the West Coast. So it was from California, they figured out, but again, California is a big state, so they just had guessed that maybe she was just from there. After further investigating, police concluded that her clothing was from the West Coast, and they said that possibly it really was from California, but again, California is a very big state, so there's nothing that could come from that. And they also were not able to locate her ID, but they were not sure if possibly she had just not brought her ID because she was going swimming, or if maybe whoever had murdered her had stolen her ID. After being unable to identify the body of this young woman, police eventually had to name her the Sheep Flats County Jane Doe, otherwise known as the Washoe County Jane Doe. They were only able to find one set of footprints that led from the body to where her killer had possibly parked on the highway. There seemed to be tire tracks treading, which made it seem as if the killer was making a quick escape, as if he killed her and then quickly sped off in his car on the highway. It also seemed as though two different sets of footprints had led to the crime scene, but only one was leading away, which made police also question if possibly the woman knew who her killer was, and maybe they were going swimming together. Maybe they were walking along the trail, and then all of a sudden he decided to kill her and leave. But we don't know if he knew her or not. We also don't know if maybe she was just walking by herself and he saw her. Autopsy results later reveal that this Jane Doe had been sexually assaulted before being murdered, either as she was leaning down or bending over. They also found multiple vaccine scars, one on her left arm and one on her abdomen, as well as a C-section scar. There was also a bruise under her left toenail. Dental work was noted and fingerprints were taken, and they were ran through the missing persons database, but nothing had came from this, so she was not reported missing by anybody. And eventually after this, after not being able to find, out who she was, she ended up laying in an unmarked grave in our Mother of Sorrows in Nevada for almost 4 decades. In 2018, her DNA as well as her killer's DNA were ran through a genetic genealogy database with the help of the DNA Doe Project as well as the GED match. Through this, investigators were able to find 2 distant cousins who, through other relatives in New York, were able to identify the body of Flat Jane Doe on May 7th, 2019 as Mary Silvani. Mary would have been around the age of 33 when she had passed. And after finding out that Mary had ties to New York, her criminal record was pulled up by police, and they found that she was arrested around the age of 25 for loitering. Her fingerprints were still in this database, so they were taken and ran through it just to make sure that this was her, and it came back as positive. So Mary Silvani was this Flat Jane Doe. After learning about Mary's past, it was found that she did not have an easy life. She was born in Pontiac, Michigan on September 29, 1948, and grew up in Detroit. Her father was homeless, and her mother was in and out of psychiatric hospitals most of her life. She, at school, did not like talking about her family, and she was super quiet and kept to herself. The 1966 Mackenzie High School has a yearbook photo of Mary, but does not have any record of her graduating nor any senior photos. Mary's parents eventually died when she was 16 years old, leaving her and her 2 other siblings homeless. Around the age of 24, Mary had fallen pregnant but could not provide for this child, which ultimately made her give it up for adoption. Mary later relocated to California with her brothers, but it is unknown of what she did with her life from 1974 to 1982. She and her siblings slowly drifted away from one another, eventually losing all contact. Mary's brothers passed, and they will never know of what happened to Mary. Despite all this, Mary was described to have an extreme love for art and reading. She was said to be quiet but lovely and kind-hearted. Still, police needed to find Mary's killer and bring her the justice that she deserved. Research on the suspect's DNA showed that he was the grandson of a couple out in Texas, but there was a twist. They learned the suspect's father and mother had a son out of wedlock, and she raised him under a different name. Eventually, the name came to light, and it was found that the killer was named James Richard Curry. Once they narrowed it down to Curry, they took his 2 children in and had them provide DNA just to signify that, yes, 100% this is our killer. And after it came back a positive match, they had closed the 37-year-long case. Both her and her attacker were both identified using forensic genetic genealogy, making this the first known case where a victim and a perpetrator are both found using this type of technology, which I think is just insane. Like, can you believe that? Like, there is going to be a day where crimes can't even be committed anymore because you're going to get caught like that. James Curry spent time in jail in Texas, eventually ended up in California where he was arrested in 1983. He confessed to 3 or more murders, but was suspected to be involved in many, many more. Authorities believed he killed a husband and wife who owned a rival storage unit. And it was said by police that when he was arrested and taken in, he told them that he had another body in another one of his storage units. He eventually tried finding the easy way out of his shitty path that he created for himself and tried taking his own life. And eventually, a few days later, he succumbed to his injuries and died. It is still unknown to this day if Mary and Curry knew each other, which is just eerie. I just want to know that answer to that question. If this was random or if they knew each other and I mean, it seemed like Mary had a whole secret life. We do not know about her at all. I mean, we don't even know what she did between like 20 years of her whole life. It's just a little odd. I really wanted to show you guys the freaking technology today and how amazing it is and how much better it's getting and how many cases are probably going to be solved soon. So many cold cases are probably going to be solved soon, especially if this one was solved just last year. I hope you guys enjoyed this case. Please leave your thoughts, comments, whatever feedback down below. I really appreciate the feedback and everything. Please leave a like and freaking hit that subscribe button. Hit it if you haven't already. Oh wait, it's down there. Why haven't you hit that yet? Why is it still red? It should be gray. What are you doing? Anyways, I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video, which hopefully is soon. I'm sorry this one took so long to come out, and I'm sorry it's so short. I know. But at least I'm still here. I will see you guys all in the next case. Good day and bye. Stay safe and stay inside.